It's Anya here, and I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks Crochet. And today we are making a new crochet buddy, and it's in the shape of a lemon slice. Look at that. And it has a leaf which is attached to the actual lemon slice, and with this ribbon you can attach it to your project bag, so you will always have all your things with you. You can attach your hook in there, put your darning needles, and even have a place for some stitch markers. So let me show you how to make this lemon crochet buddy. First of all, you will need some cotton. So I have here King Cole Cotton Soft. It's a DK yarn and it's 100% cotton. It's a really lovely cotton to work with. I have it in the color Emerald, Sunshine and White for this particular project, of course. And here I have some stuffing, because that's of course what we're going to need to put inside our lemon slice. I will be using my 3.5 crochet hook, so use the hook that you usually use for DK, and of course you will also need some scissors and a darning needle. So let's get started. We're going to make a magic circle, so you lay the yarn in your hand like this. You make a cross over your fingers like so, leaving the working yarn at the back there. You go under this strand here, pick up the back strand, which is the working yarn, you pull it towards you, so you twist your fingers, bring back the yarn, twist it and go back to get the working yarn again, twist it again and do a chain. There we go. So now we can take our fingers out of our magic circle, and we're going to be working over the bit with the 2 strands, and holding your circle tensioned, you're going to make single crochets into the circle. So you go into the circle, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. So I use American terminology, and this was my first single crochet. So into the circle, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. And you're going to do this 9 times and 9. There we go. So now we're going to hold these stitches in between our fingers like so, so they can't start twirling around. You then take your end and you start pulling it so it becomes smaller. There we go. So you're going to count back to the start of your work into the 9th V. You're going to go in there and you do your slip stitch. This now gives us 10 V's. So we're going to cut off the yarn, pull out the loop. So now we are going to start using the sunshine. So you're going to make a slip knot, insert your hook. Using the back loop of our stitches, we are going to place 2 single crochets in each stitch, and this will give us 20 single crochets in this round. So I have made it all the way around. Into this last stitch I have placed my first single crochet, and really I should be placing a second one in there, but I also have to close my round, and if I place a single crochet in there and close my round with a slip stitch, I will have an extra stitch. So what are we going to do to sort that? Well, we're going to go into the stitch, pull up a loop and stay there. Okay, so then we are going to go and do our slip stitch, and that means I have to find the 2 strands of the V of that standing single crochet, and very often that closes up for me, but here I can still use it. There we go. And now I'm going to bring back the loop and I'm going to pull it through the 2 loops on my hook. So in a way I have now and closed my round and made that last single crochet. So there we go. So now you have 20 stitches going around the outside of your work. Now we are going to do round 3, and in round 3 we're going to get started by doing a chain 1 we will sort that out later on, so we're going to disregard that for now. And we're going to place 1 single crochet in the first 2 stitches and then 2 single crochets in the 3rd stitch. So into that very first V there, we're going to place 1 single crochet. In the next stitch also 1 single crochet, and here we're going to place 2 single crochets. And this is the repeat of increase ratio that we will be doing all along this little round. So I've just made it to the end of my round. Before we close this, let me just show you here. So the middle has become a lot bigger, so grab hold of the end, hold everything flat and pull it, and it becomes smaller. So when you sew in the end later on, make sure you do it really tightly so that stays nice and closed up. So here I started my last little increase ratio, but of course, because we're not doing the standard increase, it's not going to work out. But that's okay. I'm just going to work until I can't do any more. Then I'm going to go in, pull up a loop, then go into the first V of the stitch, so skipping the chain, and I'm going to close my round by doing a slip stitch and then make like a mock single crochet. Okay, and that has finished my round. So now we are going to do round 4, and we are going to do a increase ratio of 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet and 1 single crochet on their own, and then 2 single crochets. Again, it's not going to work out, but we are just going to make it work. So we start with chain 1, then 1 single crochet in each of the first 3 stitches. 1, 2 and 3, and then in the next stitch we're going to do 2 single crochets. So here again I am at the end of the round. I am just going to do 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet. Here at the last stitch I'm doing 1 single crochet, then go in, pull up a loop, go into this V there and do my slip stitch to close the round. There we go. So for round 5 we're going to get started with a chain 1, then we are going to place 1 single crochet in the first 4 stitches, and then we do 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So let's get started. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then in the next stitch we're going to place 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and now you're going to repeat this to the end of the round. So there we go, I have made it to the end of the row. I've just been able to do my 4 individual single crochets. Now I'm doing my little loop up and then skipping the chain, going under the V, and we are going to do our slip stitch to close the round. Now for round 6 we're going to get started by doing a chain 1, and now we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first 5 stitches and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So let's get going. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then we do 2 in the next stitch. This is what you'll repeat all along your round, and I will see you at the end of the round. Voila! Once again I have done my individual single crochets, but there's no space for my double one, so I'm just going to go here, pull up a loop, go under this V there and do my slip stitch, closing up my round like so. So as you can see, we have got a little bit of a shape going on. So to make sure it turns back into a lovely circular shape, we're just going to make a small alteration to our stitches. So we're going to get started by doing a chain, then we're going to do a single crochet in the first 2 stitches, so 1 and 2. Now we're going to do 2 stitches in the same stitch, and now we're going to start our increase ratio of doing 1 single crochet in the first 6 stitches, and then in the 7th stitch we will place 2 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and now we're going to do our 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And now we continue with this sequence throughout the rest of this round, and I will see you at the end. So I made it to the end of the round. I did my increase here, and then I had space for 3 single crochets. I've got single crochets on this side as well, so I'm not going to do an increase here or a slight increase with that slip stitch. So we're just going to go under the next V and do my slip stitch to close the round. There we go. Cut off the sunshine and we're going back to the white. And in the meantime I have already sewn in my ends here, which is kind of important because this way it will be easier for us to start using the front loops, because that's the ones that we are going to be using here. I'm going to get started with doing single crochets in the back loop only. So let's go into the back loop. We're going to place a single crochet there, and in fact we're going to place 1 single crochet in the first 7 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So now we're going to create a segment. So we're going to yarn over 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Then you point your hook towards the center of your lemon here, and you will see that there is a front loop there. You can go under that. Voila. Now you're going to bring back the yarn, and you're going to yarn over and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. Voila. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops. There we go, and we have created that first little side of a segment. Now this is an extra stitch. We are not going to anchor it onto our disc here. What we're going to do is just take the next stitch here and start creating our 7 single crochets. So 1 and 7, and now we do the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You point towards the center, you find the next front loop and you go under it. You bring over the yarn, pull it up, yarn over, pull through 2, and sometimes it'll just be a little bit awkward. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Don't do this too tight. You need the length of the double, treble, double crochet that you're doing. Okay, there we go. And then we start with doing the next stitch again there, and this is how you're going to continue all around your disc. You will be making 8 quadruple crochets, and 1 of the front loops in the center will be left unused. Voila. Now I know these here become a little bit bigger, but there's nothing you can do about that really. We'll just have to put up with that. So here now I'm just going to close my round. So this is the first one. I'm going to go into the next V and close my round. There we go. Voila. So now we have made our segments. We're going to cut off the yarn. So this is the end of the front of our lemon buddy. So I am now going to have to make a second circle for the back of our lemon. So this one here is my second circle. As you can tell, I've made it completely in sunshine, and here in the center I did not bother with going into the back loop only. I just went into the stitch as usual, but I did do exactly the same increases. So now for round 8, so at the moment I have 56 stitches. Now for round 8 I am going to do the same kind of increase as we did here. So I'm going to do 6 stitches and then 2 in the next stitch. Of course here we did 7 and then 1 extra, but of course that's because we were making the segments. So starting with a chain 1. So here I am now going to do 1 single crochet in the first 6 stitches and then 2 stitches in the next stitch. And I will see you at the end of the round when you have 63 stitches. I've made it to the end of the round here. I'm just going to do a pull up here. Then I go into this V there, so skipping the chain, and I do my slip stitch to close the round. So I now have 63 stitches here as well, and now we are going to chain 1. So we're going to hold both the panels together with the wrong sides towards one another. And then we're going to do single crochets, but we are going to be picking up the inner loops only. So find the back loop on the panel that is closest to you, so that's the back loop there. Then you go over to the other panel, and there you will also need to use the back loop, but of course you're facing the wrong way. So we're just going to use the loop that's the closest to us here, and those are what I call the inner loops. So we're going to be doing a single crochet there. Like so, and you are going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Did I skip something there? No. So make sure you don't skip anything. Now don't forget, when you're about 3/4 of the way around, you've got to put your stuffing in. Okay, so I will be back to show you how to do that. Okay, so I think I'm a little bit further than 3/4, but I think I can still manage to get my stuffing in, so that's okay. So let's see if we can manage to put our stuffing in. Voila, all the ends are in there as well, so that's good. And of course you can put as much stuffing in as you want. You can make it, you know, sort of rounder or flatter, depending on your preference. This is quite a lot of stuffing, I think, but yeah, I think it's looking okay. Maybe that's a little bit too much there. Okay. And as always, it's easier to do these inner loop stitches without the stuffing in there, so I always do try and do sort of a minimum amount of stitches with the stuffing in it, but of course that means your opening is smaller. But I think, yeah, this looks nice. There we go. Look at that. So all I need to do now is close this lot up here. So here we are, just doing the last stitch. Voila, and then here going under this one and closing my round. There we go. And I used the back loop of those larger stitches from those double trebles, and I think that looks fine the way it is. There we go. So yes, this feels like I have put a lot of stuffing in there, a lot more than this one here. Look, see? So you can do that according to however you want. So now here, this one, of course, we're going to have to get rid of this. And what I generally do is just go into here, come out really close to where the end is coming out. And look, I pull it in voila, there we go. Of course, make sure this doesn't happen, so push that in a little bit further. There we go. So that's our little lemon finished. So now on to the ribbon and the leaf. So here we have our lemon slice finished. Now we're going to attach our ribbon to it, and we're going to get started on making an I-cord, and we're going to make it straight onto our lemon slice. So what you're going to do is go ahead and wind off at least about 1 meter, quite a bit of yarn, and then you're going to take this end, and I'm just going to go into anywhere. There we go. So it's a little bit lower than under the 2 strands, so under the complete stitch, and I'm going to put my yarn around my hook and pull it through. And now I'm going to pull that length of yarn that we have just wound off. 1 meter, 1.20 meters, something like that. Make a slip knot in one side, insert your hook and bring it closer to the lemon slice. So now you've got your slip knot here, your yarn goes through your lemon slice. This is the yarn at the back that you hold normally. This is the yarn at the front that you're also going to hold, but just towards the front. You're then going to loop the yarn at the front around your hook, loop the yarn at the back around your hook, and you're going to pull it through. There we go. And make sure you pull it tight. It's only these first few that you'll have to make sure that are nice and tight. So pick up the front, pick up the back, pull it through. Pick up the front, pick up the back, pull it through. Front, back, through. Front, back and through. And this way you are straight away making an I-cord that is attached to your lemon slice, so there's no end to be sewn in there, and it's a nice and clean way to attach it to your lemon. Keep on going until one of your yarns runs out or you have reached about 30 centimeters. So my cord here is now 30 centimeters or about 12 inches, and I think that's long enough. I have got a little bit of yarn left here. I'm just going to leave it. We'll just have to cut it shorter and sew it in later on. So now I'm going to make a leaf. So to start with, we're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Then we're going to chain 1 because this is our turning chain. Then you sort of turn your chain so you can look at your 10th chain. In there, picking up the top loop there, you're going to make a single crochet. In the next stitch you make a half double crochet. In the next stitch you're going to be placing a double crochet. In the next stitch you're going to be placing a treble crochet, so yarn over twice. Voila. In the next stitch you're going to place 2 treble crochets, so yarn over twice into the next stitch. 1 and a second one. Voila. Then in the next stitch a treble crochet. In the next stitch a double crochet. in the next stitch a half double crochet, and in the next stitch you're going to place a single crochet, and then here in that first chain you're just going to do a slip stitch. This slip stitch will now bring you to the other side, so you're just going to have to move things over. Make sure you don't start crocheting with the end of your I-cord, so make sure you have your working yarn again, chain 1, and then here we are going to do a single crochet. So we're now working on the other side of our leaf. In the next stitch you do a half double crochet, in the next stitch you do a double crochet, and as you can see I'm turning my hook to make it easier to get into those chains. No, here I'm doing a treble crochet, so I have to yarn over twice. 1, 2 and 3, there we go. And then here, this is the stitch where we place our 2 treble crochets. I am holding on to the stitch a little bit because of course everything is getting expanded now. We are putting a lot of stitches in that chain. There we go. Treble crochet in the next stitch. Did I pick everything up? There we go. Then into the next stitch for a double crochet, into the next stitch for a half double crochet, the next stitch for a single crochet, and then into this stitch here on the side, if I can get into it, for a slip stitch. There we go. Now we're at the end of our leaf. Now we're going to go and do a slip stitch along the chain, along the middle of our leaf, to make a little vein. And then when you get here, find maybe the top of the I-cord to go in to place your last slip stitch, and that is it. There we are. That's our little leaf made. And now of course all we need to do is cut off the yarn and sew in those ends. There we go. So let me show you how to attach the Lemon Crochet Buddy to the handle of your project bag. So you're going to hold it double like this, bring over a loop, then put it around your lemon and leaf, and then tighten it up, and there we go, it's attached. And there we have it. This is our new crochet buddy. I really love how it has come together, and I'm going to be putting it on my basket or my project bag so that I have all my things with me and I can put lots of stuff on there. So with making it even bulkier, it's easier like this to put your hook on and to stay there. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!